They said he was found at dawn, lying face down on the platform of Victoria Station. Rain dripping from his coat, eyes open, unblinking, and beside him, a briefcase filled with paper, covered in symbols that no one could read. The date was February 14th, 1952. The newspapers called him the unknown linguist, but what he spoke was not a language anyone had ever heard before. When the man awoke in St. Bartholomew's Hospital, he tried to speak, but every word, every sound was wrong. It wasn't gibberish. It had structure, rhythm, grammar, like something alive. Linguists came from Oxford, from Cambridge. They recorded him for hours, hoping to find patterns, Latin roots, Germanic echoes, something. But there was nothing. He could understand English perfectly, yet every time he tried to reply, he slipped back into that same impossible speech. One of the doctors, a young researcher named Helen Marsh, became obsessed. She spent weeks decoding the man's words, charting their syntax, tone, and repetition. She said it felt intentional, as if he was describing something vivid and precise, but from a world she couldn't see. In her final report, she wrote, "He does not appear mad. He seems displaced, as if thinking in one reality, but speaking in another." The man's name, they later learned, was Anton Dallaire, a linguistics lecturer from Lyon who vanished during a research trip to Prague. His passport had expired 2 years earlier. No one could explain where he had been. 2 months later, Anton vanished again. One morning, the nurse found his bed empty, window open, curtains fluttering. The tape recorder beside it was still running. The last thing it captured was his voice, whispering in that language. Then, silence. The case was closed as a disappearance. The tapes were locked away in the university archives, but the story did not end there. In 1967, 15 years later, another patient was admitted to a mental hospital outside Manchester. He, too, spoke fluently in a language no one could identify. When one of the attending doctors played an old recording of Anton's voice, the patient stopped speaking and began to weep. He said a single phrase, and though no one could translate it, the tone was unmistakable. Each was a playa. Help me. For decades, these recordings remained forgotten, until 1999, when a linguistics student digitized them for a thesis. The audio, when visualized as sound waves, revealed something strange. Every word formed identical geometric shapes, as if each sentence followed a mathematical precision beyond human speech. Some say it was a code. Others claim it was an unknown neurological condition, the brain inventing a private language as it collapses into itself. But there are those who believe Anton wasn't speaking from madness, but from memory. They say he described a city of glass towers beneath an ocean of clouds, a place where language wasn't sound, but light, where every thought carried weight and every lie burned. When you listen closely to the surviving recordings, you can still hear him breathing between phrases, a human rhythm, calm, certain, sorrowful, as though he knew no one would ever understand, but spoke anyway, hoping that someday someone would finally answer back. Maybe that's what language is, in the end. A message sent into the dark, waiting for a voice to return.